so exciting. Welcome to the 25-day group reset program. I am so delighted to be here with you. It's really, really weird. I feel like we should be doing the show. I also feel like I should be able to see you. So please be interactive in this because otherwise it's just like weird because the world is just a little bit weird right now. But that's why we're doing this program. And it's so awesome that some of you have been able to join live for this session and sort of get set for the next 25 days. And some of you will be watching this on the replay. So yes, we have a different background. Everything has changed. We've also got different logos and all sorts. So there we go. New, change. You have to grant this platform permission to recognize that it's you. Otherwise, I can see the comments, but all I can see is Facebook user. So unless you grant it permission, I don't know who that is. But anyway, right. So tonight we're going to chat for 30 minutes. I like to keep these sort of to the point so that everybody knows where they are. If you've got any questions, you can ask them as we go along and also ask me at the end. But basically, I don't want to impinge on everybody's lives because everyone's joining from different parts of the world and has other things to do this evening. So thank you for investing in this 25-day program, investing in yourself, joining us, committing to a reset. Now, why do we need a reset? Well, unless you've been living under a rock, we have all been sort of experiencing this very weird thing called the coronavirus, which has changed life as we know it, changed the world, changed everything. So it's very hard for us to do what we've always done, to try to have the same routines and do things in the same way. The things we've done before just aren't working. And maybe you've been finding this, maybe you were always quite disciplined, you always had a routine and things just worked for you and now they don't work. Or maybe like 99.9% of us, stuff just sort of stopped working overnight, like your business fundamentally changed, your job role changed, your organization changed, you found yourself just having to do new things all the time. So this reset is really an opportunity for us within this group to sort of create an environment of certainty in a world that is hugely uncertain. Now, don't get me wrong, we do not live in a certain world. We didn't come here for certainty. We came here for expansion. We came here to learn. We came here to live. We came here to love, to laugh, to be human. But we've always sort of known some things to be certain. And this year is literally like nothing is certain. And what that actually does to your brain is it sets an alarm ringing in your head. So all of us for the last sort of 4-5 months have had this alarm just ringing constantly in our head. So if you feel tired, if you're feeling fuzzy, if you're feeling overwhelmed, if things that you've always been able to do, you just suddenly now really can't do, and it's all a bit of a struggle, then this is actually the scientific reason why there is an alarm going off in your head. It's going off in all of our heads. And there are ways and there are things that we can do to kind of silence that alarm, quieten that alarm, give that alarm permission to take a break. And so within this group, it's all going to be about sharing our progress. It's not necessarily always going to be sharing sort of all the highs. If you want to come here to the group and share that you've been struggling or you've had a bit of a challenge, then you are so welcome to do that. But it's supposed to be sort of a place for, like, a safe place for you to be able to hang out. I can see Yolanda saying I've frozen. Hopefully I haven't frozen for all of you and that you can still see me. I'm going to still keep talking, and if you can't see me, then please let me know. I'll take a look in the group. Oh, I can still see myself. So, okay. I'm just going to assume that it's a local internet connection. That's why we've got the replay, and that's the awesome thing, is that you can come back to it, and that if life happens, then life happens. So that's just to sort of set the scenes for all of this, to help you to understand that we are living in unprecedented times. So therefore, it's unprecedented, that we're going to have to try new things and do new things. And so that's why I love that all of you have taken the time to come to be part of this program, to invest in yourselves and just to do whatever you can do. So this is 25 days that we get to hang out. If you are not able to do all 25 days, because I know some of you have got holidays planned, then that's awesome. The point of this is that you use this group, this momentum, this accountability to support you to get the best out of it and to get the most out of it for yourself. So there's a couple of things that I want to speak about in this, because this is our setup call. So the first thing that I want to talk to you about is how the program is going to run. And also your workbooks. All of you should have received an email. If you haven't, please check your junk mail. And also I have posted a link to this in the group. So you should all be able to get the 25-day group reset workbook, which is 20 pages long, and have downloaded this workbook. If not, then do that after this call. So in this workbook, let's start at the beginning. So for those of you who have no freaking clue who I am, and I'm not offended if like you've been watching the show and you don't really know, that's cool. There's a little bit of info about me, and then the mission of my business, which is called Success by Design Training. So that's the first page. Then the second page is all about mastering your mind. And I am going to talk you through page 1 and page 2, and then the rest of the book tonight during this time. So don't worry too much. So that's how the program's going to run and the workbook. And then the third thing I want to talk to you about is what I'm calling 5 tenants for business and for life that I feel are relevant in 2020. I don't want to call them laws. I don't want to call them commandments, because that sounds a bit preachy. But these are just sort of ways of living, if you like, that I find helpful and you might also find helpful too. So I'm going to share them. So how the program's going to run is, in a minute, we're going to talk about how you are going to find 2 goals that you want to achieve over the next 25 days. If you haven't already got 2 clearly in your head, the workbook is going to help you. And we're going to talk about in a minute how you can identify 2 goals. Because it might be that you've got lots of things that you want to achieve, but we overestimate what we can achieve in 25 days and we underestimate what we can achieve in a year. So what we're going to do for this next 25 days, which is kind of like a month, but not really, we're going to focus on 2 goals. And then at the end of the 25 days, you can focus on 2 more goals. So by the time your year is done, if you apply this principle month by month by month, you can have achieved 24 things versus what most of us do, which is set out a washing list of New Year resolutions, and then nothing actually generally ever happens because we try to do them all in 1 month. So literally, we're just going to focus on 2 things. And I would suggest that one of the things is related to your to yourself, to your health, to your life, and then the other one is related to work or to your business, so that you've got sort of the yin for the yang, the two sides, polarity, if you like. You guys are cracking me up in the comments. I am trying to ignore you. Right. The next thing to know is that I am going to recommend that every day you do a post in the group. And I am going to make this recommendation that you post in the group either at 8 o'clock in the morning or 8 o'clock in the evening. Why 8? Well, everything I do is to do with 8, right? But also 8 o'clock in the morning means you've kind of got up, you've had the chance to do your self-care, to do whatever it is to get yourself in the mood, and then and then 8 o'clock in the evening, you've had your dinner, you've done your chores. If you're sort of a parent, you've put the kids to bed. Fingers crossed they've gone to bed. And then you can sort of review what happened in the day. Now, if you want to post at 8 o'clock in the morning and 8 o'clock in the evening to keep us updated on how your day has gone, please do that. I'm not going to be too prescriptive about this, but I'm literally going to encourage you to post once a day, either in the morning or in the evening, updating us on what's going on in relation to your two goals. If you don't post, you're not going to be penalized. But the fact that it could be 8 in the morning or 8 in the evening means that you can alternate between the two and kind of catch yourself back up again. But also this daily posting will help you to stay on top of what's going on for everybody else and stay on top of what's going on for yourself. Yolanda, to answer that specific question, because you're based in South Africa, post at 8 o'clock and 8 a.m. or 8 p.m. in your own time zone. And I know some of you are based in Europe as well. Do it in your own time zone. And literally, you are going to post into the group. There's not going to be a daily post that you will write on. Post into the group so that when we come to the group, there's lots of interesting updates there for us to all be inspired and motivated by. So I'm keeping this as simple as possible to reduce the hurdles, to reduce any more overwhelm or chit chat. What you want to do that day, what you've done that day, post every day. And if you don't post, start again the next day. I'm going to cover that in the tenants in a minute. So the next thing, right, your workbook. So as I said, page 1 of the workbook, I'll hold it up for those of you that haven't been able to print it out. So page 1 of the workbook, we are looking at this model, which is called Master Your Mind. So the Master Your Mind model is 5 questions that you ask yourself to help understand what is actually stopping you when it comes to moving forward in your life. So let me just, I should have done this as a slide, but there we go. So the first question to ask yourself when things aren't working in your life, the first question to ask yourself is, who am I being? Who am I being to get the results that I don't actually want? Next question, what am I doing? Next question, what am I getting? So if I'm not clear about what I'm getting as a result of who I'm being and what I'm doing, let's get clear about that. Next question, how do I want to feel instead? And then the final question is, what do I commit to changing? So this set of questions, if you like, is my quick way in my own head of analyzing what's going on. So I ask myself, who am I being? What am I doing? What am I getting? How do I want to feel? Like, I ask myself these questions if I don't like what's happening. So I wanted to put this model into the workbook because I think it's super important that we get really, really honest and accountable with ourselves and recognize that we are creating our own reality in our life. Next page, page 2. So page 2 is the setup for the challenge or the program, if you like. Page 2 is where you get really honest with yourself and you identify where you're at today, because at the end of the 25 days we're going to analyze where you are in 25 days, and you are going to be able to use this information as proof to justify to yourself why doing this kind of process is very helpful towards achieving the goals that you want. So the first question, and you're going to rate yourself out of 10. So 1 being that you're deeply unhappy, 10 being that you're over the moon. The first question you're going to score yourself on is how happy are you with your work life? And I've left some space for you to write some more information as well, and you can make notes for yourself. Next question is how happy are you in your personal life? Then your mental health, how happy are you with that? And then finally, your happiness. So you score yourself out of 10 for each of these. Make sense? And if you want to take a photo of this and post it in the group, please do. If you don't, keep this for yourself. Yes, Andy, there are page numbers on this workbook. Hi, Karima, nice to see you. And then finally, when it comes to identifying your 2 goals, if you haven't got the 2 goals, here in the workbook is the exercise that is going to help you identify the 2 goals that you want to focus on over the next 25 days. First of all, you set an alarm for 4 minutes and you write down everything that comes to mind right now. So everything that you're concerned about right now, everything that you want to change, whether it's work, whether it's home life, whether it's to do with, I don't know, friends, relationships, whatever it is, write it all down. And then the next thing you do, the second thing, is you set another alarm for 4 minutes again. And that 4-minute alarm, you then go through the 8 questions that are here on the page to help you to sift out what of all the things you've written down are the most important. Because the 8 questions, you are going to visualize what future you looks like in 25 days. You are going to ask yourself what you want to feel like, what you will be doing, what life will smell like, what life will taste like. Then you're going to ask yourself what you're prepared to let go of. What does having it mean to you? And finally, you're going to ask, are you committed to trying something new? So this will help you to identify what your 2 goals are if you don't already know. And I know half of you know and half of you don't. And there's extra paper for you to write on that. Then the next bit, once you have these 2 goals, you are then going to write out what they are in more detail. So on every page of this workbook, it's all pretty clear, pretty explanatory what you need to do at each stage. Because then the final part of this exercise is you're going to break down your goals into 8 steps. It doesn't have to be 8 steps. It can be less than that, but you are going to break down what it is that you want to do. So let me give you some examples for this in case there's a little bit of confusion. So I personally, I know what my 2 goals are, but if I didn't, then I would write down everything that's on my mind right now and how I want to feel in 25 days. My 2 goals are 1, to write my next book, and 2, to get back into exercising daily. So if exercise and health is one of your goals, then what you would do is you would write what that actually looks like, what that means like. So I would write in here what I see myself doing, what I would like to see myself doing. So I will exercise every day for 20 to 30 minutes. I will do this type of exercise on this day, that type of exercise on that day. I will, regain control of what I'm eating and become more aware of it. And I'll write that down. Then I'll break it down into the steps. So step 1, make an appointment in my diary to do this daily exercise. Step 2, decide what exercise I want to do on which day. Step 3, make sure that I have my gym kit ready. Step 4, decide which types of exercise I want to do. And you really break it down. And it might be that your goals don't have that many steps, so don't worry about it. But if they do, 8 steps would be awesome. Then the final stage of this workbook, the final and most important stage of this workbook, is on page 10. And this is where you make an agreement to yourself. And you go to this page and you write the date. So the date will be today's date, and you commit to doing this program for the next 25 days for yourself. Because what we commit to, we are more likely to achieve than what we are interested in. Then the next sort of 6 pages of the workbook are for you to make notes over the next 25 days. You can keep a journal of what's happening, how you feel, what resistance you're encountering, and you can even use the backs of the pages. Obviously, I've written clear instructions about how to take notes, but I never assume anything. And then also on that page is a link to the hashtag. Andy, you were asking about that earlier. The hashtag for this is hashtag 25day reset. So if you post anywhere on social media that you're doing this, if you're posting sort of updates of what you're doing whether you're out running or you're relaxing on holiday, whatever your goal is, you take a photo and use that hashtag. And then finally, on the back page, page number 18, is your congratulations for completing 25 days of the reset. So that is the workbook. And as I said, any questions about the workbook, put them into the group, because I do understand that workbooks can sometimes cause people concern and what do I do and how was I supposed to do it again. But hopefully that has been helpful and you can watch this video back again. 2 things that I want to talk about now. I'm going to share my screen with you so that I can show you. So the first thing is, be helpful if I actually left the documents open rather than close them. The first thing I want to share with you is called the results triangle. And I think that this is a super important reminder when it comes to doing new things, because as time goes on throughout the next 25 days, you will hit the barrier that we all do, which is, I know how to do that. I know what to do. So sorry, here we go. Right. Can you see that and see me? If some of you are on your phones, sorry about that. Hopefully you can. This results triangle is, it's not rocket science, it's super obvious, but I wanted to include it because I think it is really important that we understand how we sabotage ourselves and then what those results can do for whatever it is that we want to achieve. So a lot of the time we spend accumulating knowledge, and we read books and we do courses, we sign up for trainings, we learn new stuff, and our brain loves learning new stuff. It's almost like an addiction. And for some people, it is an addiction to be permanently learning new things. But nothing will change until you take action. And this is why it is in the shape of a triangle, because it's almost like a holy trinity, if you like, of one thing is dependent on another thing. So knowledge needs action to be taken on it, but it also needs accountability. And that's why we're in this group for the next 25 days, all supporting each other on our separate missions to achieve whatever goals it is that we want to achieve. So I thought it was important to just talk about this so that when your mind starts saying, yeah, I know that, oh, I know everything she's talking about, I know, I don't really want to do it, understand that that is why, because there is always a resistance to taking the action, and that's why there's an agreement in the workbook, because you have to signal to your brain, I'm in charge, not you, not the whole like, oh, I'd rather just watch Netflix and chill, but actually I'm in charge, and over the next 25 days things are going to change, and this group is going to help me, and we are going to do it together. So that's the first thing that I wanted to share with you. And then the second thing, I'm conscious of the time, so this will be our last thing. And as I said, these are tenants, they're not commandments. And if they resonate with you or they don't, I hope they do. I'm going to explain why I find them important. Right. So the first one is called radical responsibility. And in radical responsibility, we understand and we accept that everything happens for me. So everything in this world, in this universe, in this planet is happening for me. Coronavirus is happening for me. I can't see right now why it's happening for me, but when I accept that it's happening for me, then I can get into a place of control and a place of power. If I don't accept that things are happening for me, then what I'm doing is I'm putting myself into a role of the victim. And when you're in the victim role, there is nothing that you can do. Your brain can't help you. Your brain can't think. You can't work anything else out. So it's a really confronting step to overcome. But once you overcome this, you will find you are going to be so powerful in your life, in your business, in whatever it is that you want to do. Because ultimately, when you're in the radical responsibility stage, you're saying, I truly love and accept myself, and I understand that everything. So for me, even my stroke happened for me to change my life. And even though at the time it wasn't what I wanted, it wasn't what I had planned, it has redirected me on my path. And I truly believe that what is happening now in the world on a global scale, we'll look back on in 5 years' time and say, oh, I see now why that happened. So radical responsibility, if you're interested in it, there is so much on the internet about it. Google it, do some research, watch some videos, find out more about it. It will allow you to take your power back. The second thing is commitment. So obviously this is in the workbook. Committing yourself to this 25-day reset, committing your time to it is the greatest gift you can ever give to yourself, because commitment creates results. Being interested in doing things creates nothing but interest. Third thing, consistency trumps flashy. I want you to remember this. This is a marathon. It's not a sprint. It's 25 days. Don't set the bar way high for yourself so that you are every day trying to get over such a huge bar. Break these goals down into manageable steps, and you will find that every single day it will be an inch, an inch, an inch, an inch, an inch, and you will have come so far over 25 days versus just trying to do 10 miles in a day. Now, there's a story about two teams that tried to get to the North Pole, or was it the South Pole? Can't remember. One of the poles. And one team did the same distance every day, and the other team would do huge distances one day, no distances the next day, depending on the weather. And that team actually died. It's a really sad story. But again, you can Google that one and find out about it. But consistency will be your key to success. Fourth one, and then this one is linked to the radical responsibility, which is forgiveness. So forgiveness of yourself, forgiveness of I didn't do it today, forgiveness of I didn't do it as well as I wanted to do. Forgiveness will help you to keep going. Forgiveness of others as well will help you to feel happier and more light and bright about your life. And then finally, the fifth one, mind your own beeswax, is a phrase that I say to myself in my head over and over again. Mind my own beeswax. There is so much going on in the world. It's so easy to get overwhelmed and anxious, but when we are focusing on our own beeswax, our own life, our own goals, then suddenly we become way more productive. If there are opportunities coming at you, things coming at you, people asking you to do, etc., such a long conversation, but here's a short thing to help you is I say to myself, if it's not a hell yes, it's a no. Another way to look at this is if you don't want to do it tomorrow, so somebody says, oh, will you do X, Y, Z in a month? If you don't want to do that tomorrow, don't commit to it. Does that make sense? So instantly in ourselves, we know if these opportunities are a yes or a no. And if it's not a straight away yes today, it's not going to be a no. It's not going to be yes tomorrow. It's not going to be that, oh, you keep wearing me down, I'll change my mind and I'll eventually say yes. It's a no. And this will help you to get way more time back because you won't be spending so much time feeling worried and guilty, and it will allow you to detach from the world and other things going on because you are minding your own beeswax. And the other thing in that is you can't help anybody else if you're not helping yourself. A lot of the time people will get distracted trying to help everybody else, trying to fix everybody else's problems. And the reality is that you will help everybody by fixing your own problems. You won't help everybody by fixing their problems first and then fixing your own problems, because that is just going to lead to resentment. And resentment is really a very, very unproductive vibration to be in as yourself and as a family. So I hope that these tenants are helpful. As I said, I'll post them into the group, do with them what you want. You've probably already got some things sort of like this around this, and they probably are already around the values. I mean, the consistency and the step by step is like the hare and the tortoise. All of these things, there is nothing new under the sun, but sometimes when you hear it said in a different way, it can be helpful. So I wanted to leave you with them as the kind of setup. So tonight, just to recap, we've talked about the challenge: post once a day, either 8 a.m. or 8 p.m. on your own time zone. Second thing, go through the workbook. Any questions that you've got, put them in the group, because I'm sure other people are going to have those questions and I'll answer them on the post. If you want to share how you've scored your life out of 10 on page 2 of the book, then please share a photo. If that's private, then don't. Absolutely, that's fine. And remember, in all of this, apply the tenets to yourself and in the challenge. Everybody's going to be posting their own stuff. get your blinkers on and keep going for your goals and what it is. If people are out and outright asking for help and you can help, that's a different thing. But don't get distracted by their beeswax when you need to be focusing on your beeswax. So I hope that was helpful. I'm so excited and I can't wait to see how this is going to go. If you've listened to this tonight and you're like, I totally know somebody who really needs to be in the program, then get on to them tonight and let's get them in, because they can watch the replay and get started tomorrow. The other thing that I need to say to you is post your questions and everything into the group. We'll talk about prizes and everything like that into the group as well. And then at the end of our 25 days, we will have another one of these sessions and we'll go through what's happened and where people are at and how people are doing. And keep posting in the group and keep interacting, because there will be bonuses and all sorts of things coming along. There won't be another video like this of me every Wednesday. It's just today and at the end of the challenge, but you never know, I might pop in because I might love to say hello. Right, that's the end of everything. Let me look at all of your comments now. I love that everyone is here connecting, commenting. Find each other on social media as well and tag each other. I think we're all on Twitter. My Twitter details are in the workbook, but if anybody wants to start a post in the group and connect with everybody on Twitter. The other thing I want to say is just a random thing, is that people who do my challenges, just like people who used to come to my events, they would meet people to do business with, they would meet people to become friends with, they would meet people to have relationships with. This is not unheard of. And although we're not sort of doing this as an in-person thing, which I probably would have done had times been different, this group, let's make this as interactive and as personal as possible. And if you want to do videos into the group of what's going on, if you want that to be your daily post, do a video. Like, there are really no rules apart from be a nice human and don't advertise. But who would do that? But anyway, so yeah, you can make your daily post a video and show us what's going on, take us on your run, take us for a walk around your garden, show us your vegetables, whatever you're doing. But yes, amazing. I'm going to end now so that people can carry on with the rest of their evening. But I am here, so anything you need, send me an email or DM me. And yeah, I look forward to the next 25 days together. Take care.